Ennui's events are finally here in Disney Speedstorm, and unfortunately, they are the worst mid-season events that we have ever gotten. And in today's video, I'm going to be breaking them down and just talking about what they need to change and why Ennui's events are so bad. So let's get started and talk about her two events. We have the Caring Too Little limited event and then the Excuse Moi limited event. If you want to see me participate in these and actually unlock Ennui, I do have a video that I posted earlier today. But essentially, these events work like how mid-season events have worked for a couple seasons now. The Excuse Moi event is where you actually unlock Ennui, or partially unlock her this time around, and then Caring Too Little is a time trial that actually requires you to have the character unlocked in order to get additional rewards as well as their epic crew member unlocked. Now, the main difference between Ennui's events and say, Kermit's and Anxiety's and some of the ones that they've rerun for like Figment's, the biggest difference is that from her limited event where you earn the shards in order to unlock her, there are only 5 shards available, and there are currently no other ways in-game to get the other 5 shards other than Ennui's gacha box. So that means if you want to unlock Ennui, you have to purchase her gacha box. You might be able to get 5 shards if you have some of these characters like Sadness or Celia May or Anna or Genie at level 35 or higher. If you have that, great, you'll get 3 to 5 Ennui shards. But if you don't have that, you have to buy her box, and you're gonna have to buy her box regardless. It took me 2,500 tokens in my video previously today in order to get, I believe it was 6 Ennui shards. So just estimate it'll be about 5,000 tokens or $50 worth of in-game currency in order to unlock Ennui from scratch. And obviously, of course, it could be way easier or way harder depending on how lucky you are. But if you want to guarantee an unlock for Ennui, I would say go in with at least $75 worth of tokens just to be safe. Obviously, again, 5,000 is probably going to be the average, but it could be less, could be way more. It could be 10,000 plus tokens, which is over $100 worth of in-game currency, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. The biggest thing here is that you have to buy a gacha box in order to get a character. This is the first character where they have truly felt like hard paywall. Like, yes, we have the Golden Pass characters, but the Golden Pass characters are one thing. We've always had premium Golden Pass characters. Obviously, before Season 7, they were way easier to get because you could grind, ranks and get those tokens and then purchase the Golden Pass for free. And from Season 7 and 8, our 4 premium characters, Vanellope, Calhoun, Joy, and Sadness, they've all felt incredibly difficult to get. But at least with those, you know that the following season you're going to be able to get them from the Universal Box. You know you're going to be able to get a couple shards from them for capsules, and you know that whoever is in the Part 1 will be available during Part 2 and an unlock pack for about 1,800 tokens, which is a lot more expensive than Golden Passes used to be previously, but you can still grind for that and unlock that character. And overall, it's just very upfront about the way you're going to be able to unlock these characters. However, with Ennui, we have no idea when she is going to return. Mid-season racers are incredibly inconsistent, and it's very likely there will not be a free-to-play way to unlock Ennui for months. Maybe possibly years. It's been so long since like Steamboat Pete or Minnie or a lot of these other characters that are mid-seasons have had a free way to obtain them, and it's very possible that Ennui, maybe never gets one. Like, I'm convinced Hades and Gaston are never going to be available for free-to-play players, and that people are just going to be forced to buy the villain pack. That's a very real possibility, and a similar thing could happen with Ennui, and it feels so bad. Like, what are we doing? I've had a lot of complaints about Disney Speedstorm across the seasons. I'm not shy to criticize the game. I feel like I do it a lot. Whenever I have a serious issue, I make a video about it and I address what I think needs to be changed. And honestly, I've been really impressed recently with how Disney Speedstorm has addressed some of those issues. Just in the last 2 seasons alone, they've, fixed the upgrade parts system, they've added team mode, they've added tournaments, they've added just a lot of good stuff and made a lot of genuinely good changes, fixing ranked it feels like the game was headed in a really good direction. You know, the season tour is easier now this season. It felt so good. But the one consistent complaint that I have had since season 4 and have reiterated many times is that mid-season events are bad, and they have only gotten worse since their debut. I know I've gone over the history of mid-season events several times on this channel, but just like a quick recap: during seasons 1 to 3 and early access, mid-seasons were essentially just given out for free. All you had to do was participate in the event, and you would fully unlock them. Seasons 4 through 6, they got a little bit worse. Season 4, you know, not everyone would get them for free. Only the top 25% of players who participated in the respective cups would be able to unlock those characters. Everyone else was subject to buy their unlock packs, and then slowly that percentage went up to, you know, 15%, and instead of having unlock packs, they had gacha boxes. And then Kermit rolled around and Eve rolled around, and it became these events where you need to have certain characters unlocked, and if you don't have these characters unlocked at a certain level, then you have to buy their gacha box. And now with Ennui, you can't even just, like, it's so bad, because I know, you know, people play this game and they only spend money on the golden pass, which is the way to do it, you know. Really, outside of the golden pass, nothing is really worth spending your money on. And it really sucks for these dedicated players who are spending $10 a month on Speedstorm, because that's how much golden passes cost now, you know, after the awful changes that ensued there. It's $10 a month to, you know, have the full Speedstorm experience. Like, yes, you can play without the golden pass, and you're going to progress, and you're going to eventually, you know, maybe slowly unlock every characters. You know, there's going to be a few really difficult ones, like the premium characters in the golden pass, but eventually you can get there as a free-to-play character, as a free-to-play player. You know, your progression is just going to be limited a little bit, which is fair, you know. And then these paying players, the people who are spending $10 a month on Speedstorm and have been dedicated to the game, they have been able to unlock every character. You know, some can be tricky, especially if you're just starting out, you don't have everyone unlocked at a high level or whatever. Some can be tricky, but, you know, these dedicated players spending $10 a month can unlock everyone, which I think makes sense. You know, it's a free-to-play game, but if you're spending $10 a month, you can get everyone, and your progression is significantly boosted. I think that's relatively fair. But now that Ennui is in the game, it just truly feels like the first incredibly gated character. Even the most dedicated of players, I don't care how committed you are to Disney Speedstorm, even if you're spending $10 a month on the golden passes, there's no way for you to get her, and it just feels so bad. And it really sucks, because it's not like the golden pass changes where a solution is incredibly convoluted and not easy to come across. You know, because reverting the golden pass changes, you can tell, would have been a difficult thing to do. They clearly spent a lot of work designing the new golden pass, structuring the premium characters, and all that kind of stuff, and you could tell it was a system that they were fully committed to. But they didn't even give us a notice for these limited events. They just popped in game. People were like, what's wrong with Ennui's event? They said, nope, everything is correct with Ennui's event, and that's all. There's no mistake here. They didn't communicate us. They didn't communicate to us ahead of time. Nothing like that. It just happened, and it just feels so wrong. But it also feels so easy to fix. You know, tomorrow is Friday, the day that limited events normally come out. For some reason, they released Ennui's event on a Thursday. And very easily tomorrow they could release a third Ennui event that has 5 more shards for free, or, you know, say, hey, sorry guys, enter this code to get free 5 Ennui shards. Anything like that would easily fix her event. But we don't have that, and honestly, I don't know if we're going to get that. Personally, like, as optimistic as I usually am, I feel like this is what we're getting now, and I don't see this changing for mid-season racers in the future. I think this is the new default, and considering how there has not been a single improvement to mid-season events in the history of Disney Speedstorm, every mid-season event has either been the same as the one previously or worse than the one prior to it, which is so bad, because I feel like it's one of the most important parts of Disney Speedstorm. It's one of the biggest hype points in the middle of the season, and locking it behind a gacha box like this just feels so wrong. It would be one thing if Ennui had a cheap unlock pack in the shop or something like that, but even if you grind ranked and stuff like that, you can easily just throw away $5 or 500 tokens, however you got the tokens. You can very easily throw them away on her box and just get completely unlucky several times in a row as well, which it's just so unfortunate, and I'm really disappointed. Another thing I'm disappointed about is the fact that Ennui feels so unfinished. As you can tell, you know, there was some background gameplay earlier in this video of Ennui, or at least there should be if I edit everything properly. And like playing earlier with Ennui, she just doesn't feel like a complete racer. She feels incredibly rushed. Anytime you use the charged activation of her unique skill, the frames drop. You know, I play on PS5, it's a pretty sophisticated console, my internet's fine, everything's fine with my connection, the game runs relatively smoothly 90% of the time or more, you know, but every time I use Ennui's charged ability, without fail, my frames drop and the game gets laggy and it feels very clunky to use, and I'm literally discouraged from using the charged activation of my ability. On top of that, her couch just doesn't load in. When you use the normal activation of her couch, you don't see it. When you use the charge activation, you don't see it. So it's very hard to tell if her unique ability is even working properly. It feels like the normal activation doesn't do what it says it does, but I can't really tell because the couch isn't even there. I can't tell if other people are getting their cards put on autopilot or not. She just feels so clunky. On top of that, she doesn't even have a voice. She's a voiceless, buggy, laggy, slow character. It just feels so weird to, like, she doesn't feel fun to play at all right now. At least Anxiety was polished, had a voice, stuff like that. Like, Anxiety's events seem so good compared to Ennui's now, even though I complained about them a lot because, you know, I still think there's so much room for improvement, even reverting to the last style of mid-season events, and instead of taking that feedback from the community and trying to make them better and easier to unlock, they strictly just made them harder and fully locked them behind a gacha box. And I know I kind of sound like a broken record this video. I didn't really script this out at all. It's really upsetting. It really is, and I can't believe they did this. Again, it's like the consistent thing I've complained about for so long. The amount of videos I've made on bad mid-season events. Like Hermit and Anxiety's events came out, and I sighed. Like, I didn't want to make another video talking about how mid-season events need to be fixed, because it's exhausting at this point. The fact that it just keeps getting worse. It's so bad. It's so bad, and I don't even know. Hopefully they fix it, you know, fingers crossed. They're like, hey, sorry guys, it was a mistake, here's a new limited event. I don't know, they don't even need to apologize. Like, just give us just slide a new event in there tomorrow, which, you know, it's still bad if they do that because it's misleading. A lot of people, I'm sure, today bought the gacha box because they thought it would be the only way to unlock her. And if you slide a new event in tomorrow, that sucks for all those people who bought the gacha box. Like me personally, I would not have spent 2,500 tokens on it if there was another event to unlock her. So it'd be bad in that way, but, you know, better than what we have now. It's just, I cannot believe they did this. I logged on this morning, I didn't even realize at first. I thought the event was just like Anxieties, and I'm like, oh, okay, why is everyone so upset about this? But nope, that was not the case. So yeah, Ennui's here. Definitely the worst events we've ever had in Disney Speedstorm, I think, hands down. And you know, I really should have seen it coming. Figment's Sparks of Inspiration event is formatted just like this one, but I thought they did it because Figment was a returning character and, you know, not being introduced into the game for the first time. But doing this with a brand new, fresh character just feels wrong. It just... I'm so disappointed in these events, but thank you guys for listening to my pretty you know, loose rant. Sorry if my thoughts weren't fully, you know, formulated in the best possible way, but overall I'm just really disappointed in Disney Speedstorm for consistently making mid-season events worse, to the point where now everyone is forced to gamble. You know, like, I can't imagine, I'm sure there's kids that play this game, you know, Disney appeals to kids more than anyone else, I think, and I'm sure there's kids who watched Inside Out 2, they loved Ennui, and they downloaded Disney Speedstorm because of Ennui. I'm sure there is somebody out there who did that, and now they are forced to gamble on a gacha box, which, you know, I'm not a supporter of gambling. I know some people love gacha games, and I know Disney Speedstorm is a gacha game, but I really wish that they stuck to unlock packs alongside gacha boxes rather than just forcing you into the gacha box. It doesn't feel right to me, in my opinion. You know, like Wally's events, I will happily take Wally's event structure. That sounds like paradise compared to this. A regulated time trial, top 15% of players getting to unlock them, and everyone else being subject to an unlock pack or gacha box. That sounds like paradise. But sadly, we do not have that. But once again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all in the next video. Let me know what you think of Ennui's events, what you would change, the solution you have. Let me know all of that in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.